Today we will learn what an allegory is. The term allegory is derived from the Greek word allegoria, which means veiled language. Now, veiled language means something hidden or something concealed. An allegory is basically a literary term, or rather, we can say a literary device, which bears a hidden meaning in itself. Sometimes an author or writer takes the help of an allegory to give his text a different taste, making it more deep to his or her readers. For example, we can take Plato's Allegory of the Cave, composed around 380 BCE, and The Pilgrim's Progress, published in 1678 by John Bunyan. There is a difference between allegory and symbolism. We can say we use symbols in allegory, but eventually symbolism is not allegory. Allegory can be differentiated into two types: historical allegory and conceptual allegory. Now, in historical allegory, the historical figures and events are used. For example, George Orwell's Animal Farm, published in 1945, is one of the most famous allegories literature has ever produced. The surface story of this text is about a group of farm animals who rise up, kick out the humans, and try to run the farm themselves. However, the hidden story is about the Russian Revolution, and each of the characters represents some figure from the Russian Revolution. For example, the pigs represent communist leaders like Stalin, Lenin, and Trotsky. The dogs represent the KGB, the humans represent capitalists, and the horses represent the working class, relating to the Russian Revolution. Another famous example of allegory is Edmund Spenser's Faerie Queene, published in 1590. Now, coming to the conceptual allegory, there is a lack of real events in this kind of allegory. It deals with abstract ideas. For example, The Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka, published in 1915. Fable and parable are also some parts of allegory. They are rather short allegories. Fable is a kind of short story which employs animals and non-human objects in a roundabout way to give a lesson, whereas parable doesn't employ animals. Rather, it employs human characters to express the lesson. For example, the Good Samaritan in Bible, which is about a Jewish traveler who is deeply injured and about to die. Then a priest comes but does nothing. Then a Samaritan who is Christian comes and helps him. An allegory is a story within a story. It has a surface story and another story hidden underneath. For example, the surface story might be about two neighbors throwing rocks at each other's homes, but the hidden story would be about the war between two countries. Some allegories are very subtle, while others, like the rock throwing example, can be more obvious. In most allegories, the hidden story has something to do with politics, religion, morality, such complex objects that are difficult to understand directly. Many authors find it easier to think through these issues by translating them into allegories, which are easier to understand and more fun to read than dense philosophical arguments.